What's wrong with me? What are my flaws? I'm glad you allowed me to ask myself that question. In absolute reality, there's probably nothing wrong with me. I probably have no flaws. Yet my real question for myself today is, what do I perceive to be my flaws? I appreciate you taking a look at this with me. My take is that we all have our judgments about ourselves that we call flaws. Our flaws are based on our parts of ourselves that we feel ashamed of. There's things about us that we don't want other people to see, we don't want other people to know about. So we call these things our flaws, and we spend most of our time hiding them. We present maybe everything to the world but our flawed parts. I'd invite you to consider that your flaws don't hurt you. Maybe what hurts you is your reaction to your flaws, your attempt to escape the parts of you that you judge to be flawed. And because self-growth and intimacy with myself is important for me, that's why I'm here to talk about my flaws, not to make them go away. I don't know that that'll ever happen. I don't even know if my judgment that creates my flaws will ever go away. But what I do wish to be minimized is the reaction that I have about my flawed parts, the parts of me I judge to be flawed, that causes me to try and escape them. My experience is that escape attempt is what causes stuff to go wrong in our life. When we create tension trying to get away from parts of ourselves, that tension might be created physically, but also emotionally, mentally, maybe even spiritually. And this tension may just be what causes us to be strangulated in various aspects of our life. So in an effort to minimize our escape attempt and the destructive consequences that come from it, what happens if you and I get intimate with our flaws? So I'd like to get intimate with 5 of my flaws today that maybe you don't know about. First, one of my flaws is I judge my nose to be too big. In fact, that's why I'm usually looking at you face forward. But if I'm looking at you from the side, I just showed you one of my flaws. Parts of me have shame about my nose being too big. You might say, JP, your nose is fine. I would tell you, well, butt out of my business. It's my story of judgment I have about myself, what my nose symbolizes to me. Whole weird story. I judge it to be a flaw. So there it is. And apparently I didn't die exposing it. My second flaw I'll share with you is I am an absolute coffee addict. A lot of times I pretend I'm not. A lot of times I pretend that I'm over it. But the truth is, I have an addiction to coffee. And parts of me feel weak about that. Parts of me feel ashamed about that I haven't, quote unquote, conquered that form of self-sabotage. But the truth is, part of me is a coffee addict. A third flaw that I tend to conceal because of my shame about it is I can pretty easily become a doormat to people. I notice myself more often than I'd care to admit becoming what I think other people want me to be. Sometimes that means I don't speak up for myself because I'm afraid it'll make other people mad. Sometimes it means I'm just trying to keep the peace. I'll hide my voice, I'll hide my opinion, and I'll let you walk on me. A fourth flaw that I'd like to not admit, that I will admit, is I tend to swear at other drivers when I'm out driving. Maybe not up to road rage, but I like to get really critical of people. A fifth flaw of mine, I can very easily be disconnected from my emotions. And I find this really interesting. Why part of me likes to hide that from other people is I do emotional healing work for my profession. So how's that look when the emotional healing coach you're coming to at times has a lot of trouble connecting to his own emotions? And honestly, there's times where I feel genuinely incapable and handicapped. Why can't I connect to my emotions? I know they're there, yet I just can't get to them. Part of me judges that to be a flaw. And a sixth flaw of mine, actually number 6, is probably that I can't count because I'm here sharing 5 flaws of mine and this is number 6. So number 6, or I guess I can't count as 6. Number 7 is I tend to prove myself relentlessly. Parts of me are so needy that I try and prove my worth, my success, my value to other people on an ongoing basis. Now, this is something I usually don't talk about. If you have a conversation with me, I won't sit there and say, oh, hold on one second. I'm going to say something really insightful so that you'll value me more, so that I'll prove that I'm a cool guy. You ready for it? Here's the insight. Nope. It's all very covert. Thank you for joining me on this short voyage of exposing my flaws. My intention in doing so, 1, is to get more intimate with myself, and 2, it's to invite you to do the same, to expose your flaws first to yourself. 2nd, maybe to people that you feel safe exposing them to. If you and I can do this, then I dare say that we get to shed the reactive strategies of avoidance and escapism that we impart against our own self. And is that a necessary ingredient for living a life of freedom, joy, and contentment? Is one of your flaws that you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet? If so, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, share this video with your friends, give it a thumbs up, and I'll look forward to talking with you soon.